Welcome to BizJet TV. Today's episode is all about the HondaJet Elite 2, just launched at NBAA in the United States a few days ago, and this is very, very interesting. We're going to be talking all about this new airplane on this episode of BizJet TV. If you haven't subscribed to BizJet TV, I encourage you to do so. Also join and click the join button below, become a Diamond member. You have access to exclusive content, and we're doing a series of videos right now for the Diamond members, all about spreadsheets about how much does it actually cost to operate certain private jets. So we'll be doing one on the HondaJet shortly, so talk about all the costs involved in operating a HondaJet. So that's going to be really, really interesting, only for exclusive Diamond members, of course. And if you like this video, at the end of it, please give me a super thanks. But let's get into the tofu of today's episode instead of the meat, or for all the vegans out there. So into the tofu of the episode on the HondaJet Elite 2. Off we go with the footage of the airplane, which you'd love to see here. Off we go. Now, first thing Honda did is they increased the range by 110 nautical miles. So now the range of this airplane sits at 1,547 nautical miles with 4 passengers. That does carry 7. Obviously, if you carry more than 4, then the range will decrease. So that range I just mentioned is if you have 4 passengers on board. Now, this range enables you, if you're living in Texas, for example, to pretty much go everywhere in the United States without having to do a fuel stop. So this is really, really good. It's got a new cabin design as well. The cockpit, they've improved the seating for the pilots, giving them a bit more legroom, which is good. They've put some enhancements also on the Avionics suite, the Garmin 3000, a number of extra features built in there. And the big feature here is the stabilized approach feature, which has both oral and visual warnings. Now, stabilized approach is something I've talked about before. You can click on the link above. I'll go into detail what this is. If airplanes aren't stable, which means completely configured for landing at a certain speed, at a certain height, then the pilot needs to do a go-around, because otherwise what will happen is the airplane could come in fast or high and end up at the end of the runway. Now, there's lots of crashes happen because the airplane wasn't flown in a manner to arrive at the stabilized approach point in a stabilized approach configuration. So this is really, really important, and pilot owners don't really understand or don't even know what a stabilized approach is. So the fact that Honda have actually built this into the Avionics with oral and visual warnings, during training they'll be accustomed to what a stabilized approach is, and so it makes the whole of aviation safer, in particular business aviation. So I think that's really, really good. They've also put new ground spoilers on the airplane. The other thing is they've put the emergency auto land into it, which Garmin have introduced on a number of other aircraft, and you can click on the link above to see the videos I did about that. Basically what it is, it's a special button on the airplane that if the pilot is suddenly incapacitated, the passenger can press the button and the airplane will land itself at the nearest suitable airport. It will talk to air traffic control, bring the landing gear down, the flaps and everything. So that's really, really good that they've built this into there. They've also introduced an auto throttle, which is another thing which is going to be really, really good. And all this price tag just under $7 million. Now that's a really, really good price for this airplane with all these enhanced features. So it's great to see that Honda have improved their current product, and I think a lot of the improvements that they've done are improvements that are going to be in the Honda 2600. Now, they launched the Honda 2600 concept last year. They haven't actually started production in that. They did say the other day that they will be doing this next year, and they'll announce the full program next year. Why are they delaying this by another few months? I think because they're working on improving the design. They've done lots of surveys, talked to lots of pilots and owners, asking them what they want. And I think if they build the features that they've just put into the Elite 2 into the Honda 2600 with 2600 mile range and the auto land system, the stabilized approach feature, and who knows what other features that they're working on built into this airplane, I think the Honda 2600 is going to be absolutely awesome. And they're probably going to put some kind of similarities between the HondaJet Elite 2 and the 2600, so that probably with 2 or 3 days training you can get type rated in the 2600. So there'll be commonality of rating, which will be good, because there's lots of people now, and I covered this in my last video about flight schools, the flight schools dilemmas, and if you haven't seen that, you can click on the link above. And I talked about how there is a trend right now of more and more people learning to fly. So because of COVID and everything, they figured, well, I'll learn to fly, I'll buy myself a little airplane and fly around and visit my car dealerships or whatever business you may have, or restaurants or franchises, in my little airplane from A to B to C to D. And in the US, this is very easy to do, and in some parts of Europe. So this type of person is somebody that, eventually, once they get their hours up and they get their instrument rating and maybe their commercial pilot's license, they will then maybe move in to get themselves a HondaJet. And if I buy themselves a HondaJet Elite 2, fly that around for a few years, and then upgrade to the Honda 2600. So there's a continuation there. And I know that the plan that Honda has is to sort of develop other aeroplanes as well. So we'll probably see in 10 years' time a lineup of 5 or 6 different HondaJets, like Embraer are doing with their Phenom 100, Phenom 300, Legacy series, and that all up to the Lineage 1000, and you can see those lined up at all the air shows. I think Honda are aiming in that direction, but they're going slow, but solid. And they're coming out with a really good product. So the HondaJet Elite 2, I think, is going to be a success, and so will the Honda 2600. And if you haven't watched my video on the HondaJet 2600, click on that link just after this video, which is coming shortly. And I hope you enjoyed this. What's your take? Remember to subscribe to BizJet TV. Even better, if you click on the join button and become a Diamond member and get access to exclusive content. We'll be doing a video shortly about the HondaJet and all the operational costs of a HondaJet, and that's exclusive for Diamond members only. And if you like this video, give me a super thanks. And that's all from Fabrizio Poli on BizJet TV, and I'll see you in the next one.